there we have it.
Okay, let's just have a look then, changing topics slightly on the censorship narrative, because the legacy media continues to shill for censorship and digital ID. And this Sky article then is typical. Digital ID is great, they say, because pornography viewing has plummeted in the UK. And well, we talked a little bit about this last week as well, but the narrative continues, the headlines continue. Sky attempts to laud the success of the Online Safety Act's age verification rollout by speaking to some teenagers at the youth club in Warrington, who seem to be suggesting they feel much cleaner since the new regime was put in place. And to quote Ryan, who's 17, we're told, he said that the internet was a very, very malicious place and described frequently seeing inappropriate content just 1 month on. He says this algorithm now seems to be tamed, although he still describes the internet as malicious. And they publish this graph to show what has happened. And although they do pay lip service to VPN use, there's no analysis of whether or not there's any real decline in pornography use in the UK, or whether it's just masked by VPN use, which it is, of course. Now, here is Proton VPN, and they've published one graph here which shows exactly what's going on. And other VPN providers are reporting similar increases, and these increases have continued since July. So clearly, you know, the VPN use is masking activity as people recognize what the government has actually done here, and they're wanting to therefore hide what they're doing on the internet. The fact that the investigatory powers legislation requires internet service providers to maintain metadata and records of every website that we visit seems to have passed most people by over the last few years, and it's taken this piece of legislation to get the point across. And I'm going to be talking a bit more about that in extra. But in the meantime, in the United States, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has written to platform chief executives to warn them that compliance with the Online Safety Act may leave them open to prosecution in the US. So FTC Chair Andrew Ferguson said that restricting access to content for American users to comply with foreign legal requirements might amount to a violation of Section 5 of the Federal Trade Commission Act, which prohibits unfair or deceptive commercial practices. He cited the EU's Digital Services Act and the UK's Online Safety Act, as well as reports of British efforts to gain access to encrypted Apple iCloud data as examples of measures that could put companies at risk under US law. He invited company leaders to meet with his office to discuss how they intend to balance demands from international regulators while continuing, he says, to fulfill their legal obligations in the United States. And on the digital ID front itself, the global rollout continues. So Biometric Update here is reporting that Nigeria's National Identity Management Commission must make sure it issues at least 59 million national identification numbers by December the 31st, 2026. Now, this is an objective of the ID Authority is pursuing in line with revised terms for the Nigerian Identity for Development project. It's an initiative funded by the World Bank alongside the French Development Agency and the European Investment Bank to the tune of around $430 million. Now, Biometric Update cites a report by Tech Cabal, which says that they need to issue at least 3.3 million of these new identification numbers every month between now and the end of the project, which is 3 times the current rollout rate. And so that is probably unlikely to happen. But Biometric Update also reports that Sri Lanka is in a similar boat. In this case, they intend to integrate the Sri Lanka Unique Digital ID project with the Electronic National Identity Card project, assigning unique ID numbers, centralizing various types of IDs, and capturing data like birth certificates and tax identification. And finally, on this topic for today, the Future Marketing Insights website takes a look at the size of the digital ID market over the next few years. The digital identity services market is predicted to grow from $28.5 billion US dollars in 2025 to $86.5 billion US dollars by 2035, and they provide us with a nice graph for that. The leading segment in digital identity services market in 2025 is identity verification and so-called know your customer, which of course is related to the banks. It's something that we're all subject to. And the top key players in this, they consider the likes of LexisNexis Risk Solutions, Experian, Trulio, Jumio, Onfido, Mytech Systems, IDEMIA, Thales, iProve, GBG, and so a mixture of social credit companies in the West here and military industrial complex in there. So I don't know what else to say about that, but this agenda rolls on apace, and it looks like it's it's clearly a global effort.
It is, but I think we would be well advised to cast our eyes towards Nigeria in 6 months' time and see how they're doing.
Yes.
Because if uptake has been anything like it was for their central bank digital currency, it's going to be an absolute disaster. So I think that's what we have to hope for. Now,